Let's live, prepared to die. March 26, 2000, Sunday, at Belvedere Studio. Humans like perfection within certain limits, based on a certain foundation. If there is even the slightest opportunity to understand the concept, it is difficult to forget it. Forgetting it and living is harder than dying. Everyone likes the best, doesn't he? No matter how tied to the body one is, he or she wants it if it is possible. Calvin's absolute predestination, which says that from the moment humans are born, some are destined to go to heaven and some to go to hell, is talking about a certain human nature. Because the world itself is a fallen world, humans with certain natures receive more stimulation, which ultimately leads to that outcome. People are not born to go to hell, but it is because of their nature and character. It is because of their individual character. So honestly, the phrase, recreating oneself, is nothing else. It's about readjusting one's individual character to the era of restoration history. So what is that era? It's referring to the world in which one lives and breathes. That's why such words come up, because some people with certain character traits can do that more easily than others, and also those who are more addictive, radical, and extreme than anyone else can do that. From the perspective of the classical age, it may seem that way. There are groups that act in groups of similar people, so there is a certain basic character. At the extremes, there are people who are unconditionally meek, and there are people who live with extreme thoughts that are unconditionally selfish. If you try to set a stage between the extremes, you can do it freely. You can do it by cutting all the way between them. If you are assertive, radical, and go to the extreme, according to Calvin's theory, you will go to hell. This is because if you take too many risks, that will happen. This is because when humans are on Earth with a physical body, they are in the process of learning. If they begin to conduct more intense experiments than others, the results will vary greatly depending on their internal nature. When a person with a strong character who tries too hard at everything becomes weak as a human being, he or she may have thoughts like, "I must not die now." At times, human worries and fears may come over them. They may worry about what will happen if they leave this world without completing everything they should do, and this worry may turn into fear. In the midst of uncertainty, fear arises, which is human psychology. If you face uncertainty while harboring worries, it will turn into fear. Aren't most people afraid in this way? At a stage when you still don't know much about your future becomes uncertain, and as you live with such worries, it turns into fear, doesn't it? Such worries and fears can sometimes motivate people to, let's live prepared to die. It is precisely because they do not want to live that way that they are motivated to, let's live prepared to die. This is because they do not want to live in a state of anxiety amid the uncertainty of life. They do so because it is better to think, if I'm going to die anyway, I might as well die once or twice. For the self-esteem of an extreme person, this conclusion is better. They decide that it is better to live this way than to live with worries. Even if the person who is going to die tries to avoid that death, it is not possible to avoid it, so they make this choice. In the midst of uncertainty that cannot be helped, they make this choice with their own agency and subjectivity, and force it to become certain. If you go forward with that kind of resolve, and the result you hoped for comes about, then you move on to the next stage. One is already done, after all. There are many things you want to do, and let's say there are 10 things you can consider as results. Then the idea is to do as much as you can. If you finished one and you die while working on the second, then so be it. If you die while working on the third, so be it. If you die while working on the fourth or fifth, so be it. Even if you don't manage to accomplish all 10, try not to feel too disappointed. Just keep going as far as you can. Love has both a delayed effect and a sense of connection. The delay exists because of that interconnectedness. So even if you die in the middle of the journey, your children can carry it on. That's true, and it does not have to be your children. Anyone who works with you, or anyone can carry it on, right? What matters is that to those people, the person called me lived a life properly before passing away. It's better not to think, I must be the one to do it, or only I have to do it. The ability to live for the sake of others is, in an ideal sense, something that all human beings are capable of. Among the arts, dance is not intellectual, but purely physical. It is something that uses the body to express something. First, it is the simplest. It is not about using musical instruments, but moving the body, so it is not subjective, but rather objective, because the body moves to the music of others. You turn your body to the music of others. If you think in such a concept, you will start to live in that way, and you will be able to act in that way. You think that this is enough. That is not enough. Even if you die, it is not enough. So can Christianity alone do everything? No matter how well you dance to music written by others, and how much joy you bring to others, that is only the level of Christianity. Doesn't the Bible say, put new wine into new wineskins? To put it simply, that is the concept. The use of the 12-tone scale in music was invented by white people. We must create something new on that foundation. We must create our own creative works. Restoration is possible only when there is a connection based on historical continuity. So how do we restore it? We must do it ourselves. We must create something new ourselves. Isn't that the principle we have learned? We must recreate. It is new creation through the process of recreation. Many harmonious numbers are born from number 3, but one more number must be added to make 4. Only then does the change itself end, and development can take place based on that. Otherwise, the same number 3 can be born again. The east, west, north, and south must not be blocked, and a hole must not be left. Therefore, the pyramid is not based on a triangle, but on a square. East, west, north, and south. This is the basis, and in one aspect it becomes a focus. It is a model for establishing a focus, so it works in some fields. This is because all the points that aim vertically are triangles. The basic horizontal frame is a square, and it is a triangle that searches for the vertical points. As in the shape of a pyramid, when the horizontal square searches for the vertical triangular points, 12 points are born. Instead, the base is 4 points, that is, east, west, north, and south. That is basically the format. That is why the pyramid remains a mysterious concept to this day. In the past, aliens appeared on clouds and flying saucers, and we can think of them as a kind of archangel. People in the past could meet archangels directly. But in today's world, to be honest, there are many such things. In the past, we couldn't learn such things even if we tried. We are in an age where various historical materials can be integrated and reported in an instant. Based on a large number of materials, broadcasting stations have to fill in the seconds, ticking away the time 24 hours a day, every day. There are 86,400 seconds in a day, so even if you speak 1 word per second, we are in an age where 86,400 words a day are constantly being broadcast. If the body is perfect, you can travel anywhere in a short time. The more perfect it is, the shorter the time it takes to travel. The shorter the time it takes to go from the initial point to 8 points. If not, the power of the communication cable needs to be increased.